Hello, I'm Maureen King, and I want to thank you for stopping by my website, thattappingthing.com. I want to give you just a brief overview of what this site is all about. First off, I'm not selling anything, okay? It's a completely free site. There's nothing for you to purchase, nothing for you to pay me to do. This is strictly information to help you and other people have better lives. I'm 55 years old. I've been a teacher or school counselor for close to 30 years now. And I've learned a lot of different things along the way that help myself, my family, my friends, and certainly my students. So some of the things I want to share with you have to do with information that I've learned from psychiatrists, psychologists, medical doctors, other teachers along the way, either through their books, TV, lectures, whatever it happens to be. But I do want to share some information. One of the main things that I talk about is EFT, which is Emotional Freedom Techniques. When I first learned it 3 years ago, I was told about it by a parent at my school. And she said that she learned it for anxiety and taught it to her 8th grade daughter, who also had really severe anxiety. And she said she got a lot of benefit from it and recommended I learn it. So you don't have to tell me twice. I checked into it and was so impressed. It's something that's being used with Iraq veterans. It's going back where they're even using it with veterans that have been suffering with PTSD all the way from the time of the Vietnam War. So this is something that could help with huge issues going on in your life. It can help with those small issues going on in your life. But whatever the size of the problem, it's important to you because it's your life. It's something that is really basic and simple. I have a video, an introductory video that's EFT, Feel Better in 20 minutes. And it sounds like a long time, but that's just simply to teach you the technique. Once you learn the technique, you can do it in literally minutes. And it's something that can really help your life. It helps neutralize any kind of feelings or emotions. Now, I'm not saying putting any kind of judgment on emotions, whether they're good emotions or bad emotions. But sometimes there's emotions that we just don't want to feel anymore. We're kind of tired of them, or they don't service us very well. We get stuck in anger, or we get stuck in sadness. We get stuck with food cravings. I dealt with my stress by gaining over 60 pounds before I learned to use EFT. I've now lost 40 of them, and I'm on my way to losing even more. It's something that you can use for all kinds of different things. I have actually even used it to eliminate my need for prescription or over-the-counter medications for seasonal allergies. I'm not a medical professional. I am definitely not telling you to stop seeing your doctor or to stop taking any medication. This is something that worked for so much. I taught it to a friend of mine who was the coach for the Gator Cheer Squad in Riverside, California. She ended up teaching her cheerleaders the technique, and they used it at every practice because it helped neutralize those feelings where they were just so intense that they were afraid they were going to make a mistake, fall. We watch it every year where we expect people to go to the Olympics and they're just going to sweep the awards, and 9 times out of 10 they get there and just kind of fall flat. With this, if you can kind of take away those overly anxious feelings, a little bit of anxiety in a way can actually be helpful for us, but when it gets to the point where it's too much, it can just shut us down. My friend Brandy went ahead and taught it to her cheer squad. And they were going to just use it at practice, but when they got to a competition, her girls said, you know, can we go ahead and do the tapping? She was a little bit concerned because, like I said, it looks pretty silly. But they did it anyway. Even though I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to land my jumps, I love and accept myself. And they went through this whole routine that can be adapted for any age group. I've used it with preschoolers. They ended up being the undefeated national champions in their division. Okay, not a small task. And certainly, had they not practiced, it would not have been enough. Certainly, had they not had natural talent and a good coach, it would not have been enough. But they were able to put it all together as a package and come out as the national champions. A lot of professional athletes are using it now. So people use it for all different things. You can use it for speaking in front of other people. That tends to be the #1 fear of most adults, is to speak in front of their peers. It was actually developed by someone named Gary Craig, and Gary said, try it on everything. Like I said, I've used it for allergies, I've used it for emotions, I've used it for food cravings. Along with food cravings, instead of just using it for that particular food, even though I'm really craving Heath bars, I love and accept myself, you want to also go to the underlying issues, to those underlying themes. Maybe it might be, even though I think I have to fill myself up with food because I don't feel love. Whatever it happens to be, those are the things that you can tap on. I even used it on my nephew's baby, who was just crying and crying at a baby shower from teething. I took him and I held his little teeny tiny hand ever so gently and tapped on it. Even though my teeth hurt, I'm a special baby. Even though my teeth hurt, I'm a special baby. And then I went through the tapping techniques on him. I didn't do his face because I didn't want to freak out the little baby. But within minutes, he was happy as could be. I have students that have quit doing self-injury that used to be all scarred up. Now they no longer use that technique of self-injury. Instead, they deal with their anger or whatever the emotion is in a positive way. Even though I'm really angry, I love and accept myself, or I'm awesome, instead of cutting themselves or hurting themselves in another way. It's helpful for all kinds of addictions. I use it with middle school students and drug and alcohol groups that I run. I also use it with them in anger management groups or stress management groups. It can work with feelings of grief or loss. With so many students nowadays, they're coming from broken homes and their parents just tried so hard to do the right thing, but for whatever reason it didn't work out and they no longer have the opportunity to live with both parents. And it really hurts those kids inside. So they're able to deal with those feelings of separation by tapping about it. There's all kinds of playlists that I have put together on YouTube that are absolutely free. I encourage you to take the time to make your life better. I got a text yesterday from a young lady that I worked with last year, and it just made my day. This was a young lady that cried on a regular basis. She was a high school student having all kinds of difficult issues going on, and she texted me that it completely changed her life. That her self-confidence has skyrocketed. She's doing really well in school. She even got accepted to a prestigious summer program for her particular area of interest. And this is something that she accomplished by being persistent and dealing with whatever feelings and whatever emotions popped up. Another thing that I've used EFT for, and so have my students, is test-taking anxiety. So that's something that if you do it in advance can really make a difference if you're one of those people that prepares, you know the information, and then when you get to the test, it's hidden somewhere in your brain and you just can't access it. So I encourage you to use it for that. It works great for subject blocks. If you think that you just can't write poetry, or you think, I just can't do math, or this is too hard for me, I can't run, whatever it happens to be, address those issues. A lot of times it's a limiting belief that you just think you can't do it, and you convince your brain that you can't do it, so you can't. If you can erase that limiting belief, you can move on, and you can be a lot more productive in whatever area you're working on. Even though this technique looks really involved, and it certainly is something that people would notice if you're tapping on your head and your collarbone in different places, but once you learn the basic technique, I also have a video called Public Tapping for Kids and Adults, and it's also part of the Tap Into Learning series. It's in there too. But it's a way that you can tap where nobody else will know you're doing it. So you can use it in public settings. Personally, I've used it in meetings where maybe I'm a little bit irritated with a coworker, don't want to say anything or do something that's not quite appropriate, and I can calm myself down strictly by doing something on my hand, either in my lap or under the table. Nobody's going to see it. I have my students do the same thing. They've done it in classrooms when they're either stressed out because they freak out in the middle of a test, or when they're irritated by somebody else and don't want to throw something across the room at the kid. But these are techniques that you can learn that really can change your life. Along with doing yourself a favor by using tapping in your life, do your kids a favor too. When they're going into some kind of stressful environment, whether it's starting preschool, whether it's starting kindergarten, going on to middle school, high school, whatever it happens to be, help them out with tapping. Help them to address those issues so that they can thoroughly enjoy the new experience that is going to be a part of their lives. And mommies, use it too. I understand your kids might be nervous because they're thinking, I'm going to miss my mommy when I'm at school. Well, I'm a mom. I understand that as parents, we miss our kids too. Or maybe we get that kind of guilty mom kind of syndrome going on, or guilty daddy kind of syndrome, that I'm just not able to spend enough time with my kids. Instead of being stressed out over that and doing an injustice to yourself and your children, tap about those feelings and emotions, let them go, and be the best person that you can be, and the best parent that you can be. It's great for you. It's great for your family. Learn the technique and pass it on. I really encourage you to try this. There's a whole series that you can encourage your children's teachers to use in school. It's called Tap Into Learning with Mrs. King. It's designed for middle school age kids, but it can certainly be adjusted for younger kids. A friend of mine teaches kindergarten. I used to, and she used it with her kindergartners. I've used it with high school students. I use it with adults all the time. So, care enough about yourself to make your life better. If you can love and accept yourself, you can love and accept others, and the world will change. Thank you so much. Have a great day.